The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of bad. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throbbing my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too feeble and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
First Week Podcast coming to you Sunday, April 27th, 2025. Special Sunday show here with the man. We finally tied him down for an hour here. My man, Sir Denny Blanco, of course, co-host of Instant Game Podcast. Also, the owner of the Breakdown with Denny Blanco on TikTok and Instagram and whatnot. I love his content, brother. How you doing, man? Good to see you, man, as always.
As always, EJ, I appreciate you for having me on. I appreciate the conversation. Yes, that is right. The Breakdown with Denny Blanco. Every day you will see a video of me breaking down something that the only way I know how, by asking the real questions and waiting for you to answer, because I don't have the answers, right? And then it's in the Game Podcast with Randy J. Cruz. Once again, we're just on hiatus. We're coming back for a little bit.
What's up with that, though? Because I see Randy do more wrestling stuff than
well, again, because we're so multifaceted.
Yeah, no, I get it, but I haven't seen you guys pop up at least a month at least now.
Yeah, no, because again, he had to run out. We put it on pause. He had to run out to do WrestleMania, so that takes up that takes some time, and then so.
I don't know if you know this, but he actually had asked me to come on a show with both of you guys about a couple weeks ago, and then we were going to do that. But then I guess something came up last minute. Like he couldn't do the show last minute.
Yeah. So this has been the last, and then also too, he runs his own, Hoops in the Sun, which is
right.
premier basketball league in the Bronx at Orchard Beach. So he has all that usually coming into the playoffs. So, but we'll be back as soon as we get this his schedule lined up. But there's so much going.
Yeah, I spoke to him a couple weeks ago. He'll be on this podcast very soon. So
yeah, so there's been so many things going on the last couple of weeks. So I'll let you take it from where you want to take it, and we'll go from there.
Let's go. You know how we do it, man. Of course. Let me ask you first, rather than going into these series. Obviously, it's a little time sensitive because we're recording on a Sunday morning, just 2 hours before the first game, Game 4 of Knicks and Pistons. So we're not going to really dive into that right now. I'll just ask you just a vague question here. Just give me your biggest takeaway or takeaways so far from the first week of the playoffs. What has stood out to you right now?
All right. I just want to pull up this bracket because my brain is all right. Well, hey, what stood out? Okay, so let me just move this to the right here. All right. OKC. OKC looks like they're the real goddamn deal. They're not playing any games.
I think I lost you. Hold on. Listen, hold on 1 second, guy. I think we might have lost you there. I don't know if it was on my end, maybe on your end. Let me see. Give me 1 second. All right, we're back. Okay, you said OKC. My bad, man.
Yeah, no. OKC. They look like they're primed and ready to win a championship. They're shocking me with their ability to use their bench, their ability to score, and their ability to come back from deficits. That's number one. The Cleveland Cavaliers look sexy too. God bless. They look very sexy. Yeah, they look very sexy, the Cleveland Cavaliers. But I'm still not convinced. Even with the defensive player of the year, shout out to Mobley and his bag of money that he's going to get for winning defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
There's something, I don't know, there's just something missing. And lastly, the Golden State, even though you have the Lakers, Timberwolves, I'm like, okay, great. And you have obviously the Nuggets, Clippers, great. And Magic, Celtics, that's going to be a wash. the Bucks Pacers, if Dame actually starts playing, that may be a series. But you know what intrigues me the most is Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. Because if Steph were to able to, hypothetically, I don't know, take this team to the NBA Finals.
Oh boy.
The team that he has right now, constructed with Jimmy Butler and Draymond and Podziemski and Pope and
sometimes Buddy Hield. sometimes
Buddy Hield. Right, there you go. Sometimes Buddy Hield. If he was able to take this team to the finals, there's going to be some conversations to be had when it comes to moving Steph into all-time conversations. When it comes to all-time, not point guard, not all-time point guard, all-time in general. There's going to be some conversations because your man Steph was stealing rings from LeBron during the LeBron era.
Yeah,
a lot of people would think like, oh yeah, LeBron. This is it's about to be the end of the LeBron era. 22 years, 4 rings, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
4 rings for LeBron, and I think Curry has 4 as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So, Steph. Steph is the sun.
Yeah.
Steph is the sun. He attracts everyone else. He's not going to leave. He's going to stay where he's going to stay in Golden State and attract everyone to win chips. So it's going to be different conversations. So that I'm looking at a number 7 Warriors knocking out the Houston Rockets, who are number 2 seed.
And it did last night without Jimmy Butler. I thought that loss was bad for Houston. I thought that was a horrible loss. I think that showed their age right there. To me, last night's game told me the series is over.
You have to win when you see Jimmy Butler out. You have to get that game. You have to. There's no because clearly if I'm not mistaken, right? It's 2-1 Golden State going back to Golden State.
Staying in Golden State for Game 4. Yep.
Championship pedigree. Steve Kerr is going to come in, and a lot of people thought Steve Kerr needed to go.
You know what registered to me that I knew this was over after the game. I'm watching Jalen Green, Draymond Green, both get into it at the end of the game. A little scuffle, not a fight, this little scuffle arguing. And I said to myself, Jalen Green, he's goading you into this stuff, bro. This is a veteran. Like, say something about Draymond Green, and Draymond Green's a pain in the ass, all that. But this is veteran leadership. This is veteran stuff here. Get the young player off his game, get into his head. Y'all just lost the game. You're down 2-1, where our second best player didn't play, and you're big mad, and you get into a Draymond Green. He's in your head, bro. He's in your head. Series over. And
23.
This is what we talk about, the youth and the experience difference. Right there is why I had Warriors win the series in 6 games.
Well, again, I thought Jalen snapped back really well from the bad first game, coming back, dropping 38. I thought that was great. But at the same time, too, you mentioned youth. That's part of it. When you talk about being unable to understand when somebody's trying to get in your head. Yeah. And it worked. That's youth. So we'll see what happens going forward. God bless. Again, I think also, too, just doubling back to the east side. I saw Dame Lillard talking smack to Tyrese Halliburton, quote unquote, the most overrated player in the NBA, based on a survey. Yeah. And this was in Indiana. And I was wondering what would happen when they came back to Milwaukee. Oh boy. That was the best Dame Lillard defense I have seen in 6 years.
I mean, you're down 0-2. You better wake up, man.
So whatever. I keep telling folks, I said, if you have to talk to yourself in the mirror, if you have to talk smack to the other team, if you want to talk smack to Dame, whatever you have to do. Because also, I want to applaud myself, Denny Blanco breakdown. I want to applaud myself because sometimes I'll say things into the universe and just say it because this is how I feel. And then when I see it happen, I'm just like, oh my God, I guess somebody was listening. Yeah. They were the last Milwaukee game I watched the highlights. And I said to myself, I said, Self, if you're going to win this series, you better bench Brook Lopez.
Yep. I think our own Greg Carino comes on the podcast every week said the same thing too. Also after game one, like you gotta have to bench him.
No, he can't play. Not this series. He can't play. I said, you want to win this series? I said in my head, I said, Doc, you want to win this series? You know what you do? You start Giannis at the 5, put Bobby Portis at the 4, bring in, and he didn't do this. The third thing, because I was obviously Gary Trent Jr. went off, but I was like, bring in the young rookie, I forget his name, off the bench. You need fresh legs. Bring him, start him. I was like, you got to change up the lineup because they're taking advantage of Brook Lopez every possession. I said, no. They changed the lineup. Clearly, their defense gets way better. Now you're switching. Now you have Giannis roaming. Yes, beautiful move. Let's see if that adjustment works going forward again.
Right. You mentioned OKC, and obviously they look Tyler ready. They're done. They finished the series last night. They took a business. I thought game 3 was needed. So game 3, of course, they were down 29 points 1 point in that game. And in the second quarter, and they came back and won that game.
Go ahead.
I think it was needed. I think there's this value in adversity, but still getting the job done in adversity. I think a lot of people's concern with OKC is more like, well, youth, number one, but number two, also that this whole run from October to now has been so easy with little pushback that maybe if they do get pushback somewhere down the road, they may be able to handle that. I thought going through the adversity of game 3 and then game 4 being competitive without Ja, but still being competitive and still finding a way to win that game, I think that translates well for who they are moving forward and why I think now, even if they play the Clippers or Nuggets second round of playoffs, I'm more convinced now they're gonna win that series in 5 or 6.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting because if they play the Nuggets, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Joker.
Yeah.
But if they play the Clippers, that's going to fall into the Thunder's hands because the Thunder have a better front line to combat that. You know what I want to say about the Grizzlies? I have two people I want to call to the table. Two people.
Okay.
You're up 29? I think it was 29.
Yeah, it's 29.
It was 29, 28. It was 20 plus points.
It was 29. It was 29.
Thank you. Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson. I call you out because there's no way without Ja you should lose that game. No way. No way. Jaren Jackson, you think you're a small forward or a 2-guard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I'm gonna tell you, even though you're an all-star, because it's gonna be like Denny, he's an all-star. Like how if he's an all-star, could he improve his game a little bit more? Yes, he can.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell him the same thing I told Evan Mobley. Stop shooting them goddamn threes. Cut them threes in half and get your ass in the post, please. Please, I beg of you. And then learn some post moves, because there's no reason why Headband, my man, from OKC,
Caruso, right? Alex Caruso.
There's no way you get the ball in the post. Alex Caruso gives you 2 minutes of why the Oklahoma City Thunder needed him, wanted him, desired him. Everybody's like, well, he's not offensively, he can't do. I said, just wait. There's going to be a series or a game where he's going to be like, oh, that's the reason. Right there.
Yeah.
2 minutes of Alex Caruso. Steals the ball from the wing. We gone. Gets the switches. Has Jaren Jackson, who's 7 foot. I said, okay. You got him. Right in the post. You got him. He swings the ball right into Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso said, give it to me. Swipe. I said, what's going on? You can't play Edie because he's too slow at times, okay? And he's not finishing at the rim. He's not Shaq. You know, it'd be different if you threw the ball to him every single time and he in the paint and it was a dunk. But sometimes he'll catch it, hesitation, catch it, try to dunk, nothing. He has no hook shot, no consistent hook shot. I don't think he has a hook shot. Desmond Bain and Jaren Jackson, you guys are getting paid millions upon millions of dollars. Shout out to Scottie Pippen Jr. Huh?
This might be a hot take, Denny, but I've kind of been saying this a little bit off record. But I think it's going to happen. I think Ja Morant's gone this summer.
I wouldn't be surprised. If he's gone.
Because they're in a weird spot. They're in a weird spot right now where they can either decide to commit to Ja, get another star, and get better, or they blow it up. They're not a terrible team. They're not a great team. But if they can go. It's like a seesaw. It can go one way or the other. Like, we like Ja, but I don't want to pay him $300 million. That's
if I was a betting man, it's another Luka all over again.
Yeah, I think Luke. Look, see what about Nico Harrison and whatnot, and we'll get to him in a second. But I think Nico and company in Dallas set the stage for something we might be seeing more often now with teams and players that don't want to commit to guys they don't feel like it's committed enough. And I think Ja is in that conversation where, with Luka, of course, was more conditioning, whatnot. Ja, it's other issues off the court. And to be real, even on the court in terms of style of play, he's injury prone. He's a higher risk, higher reward player, and the team has not gotten any better with him. So you either commit to him and then add in a piece, but again, you're a small market team, so how does that work? Or you just say, blow it up, get another star, let him walk, get some assets back, and try to rebuild. It's my
send him down to Miami.
My brother said it to me last night. I'm like, I don't know when I want to take that on, though. But I wouldn't hate it at this point.
If I'm Pat Riley, do I have a point guard currently? Not really.
Nope.
I already have an all-star in Tyler Hero, and I have a semi-all-star in Bam Adebayo who needs to get the ball. Who's going to get him the ball? Because everybody else in the East is sewn up with point guards, as you can tell. I mean, even if not Toronto. So Orlando, yes, Indiana, Orlando. You may want to look at Orlando, but Indiana, New York, Milwaukee, these guys, all these teams, even Charlotte, all these teams have point guards already. So, and he's not going to stay in the West. So, yeah, I do see that. You have to understand, when you own a business, when you're a business owner, and you own an NBA franchise, you get to do what you want. You get to do what you want. You get to say what you want. And you don't, what's funny too is, as a business owner, you don't have to have justification. You don't have to have justification. We just got away from a weekend. Months ago, I screamed into the heavens, which is Twitter, social media. I screamed into the heavens. I said, Giants fans, hey, guys, this is months ago. This is like December, around there. I said, guys, Daniel Jacobs, all right, you already know what it is with him. Let's look to the future. If Cam Ward's number one pick, they're saying Shedeur's number 2.
Yeah. Giants
fans, you have yet to draft a black quarterback. In the history of your
Giants fans.
You have yet I'm happy that you have some accountability, and you have some, you're like,
we discussed this earlier.
I'm part of the I know about it. You literally have the ability to draft Shedeur Sanders, and you don't. You draft someone by stats, don't even match up to Shedeur. Not even stats. Mel Kiper Jr. This guy didn't even perform in the big games he was supposed to perform in. Shedeur did. So you have to understand, or I was basically landing the plane on business decisions and business owners. Or I think Woody Johnson's son says, hey, you have to draft Jaden Daniels. Or was that the Giants? No, that was the Jets.
It was the Giants.
It was the Giants too. It was the Suns.
It was the Giants. Yeah, but the thing is that they would have drafted them though, but Washington was not moving on that spot. I think people make a big deal about that. Washington was never moving on that spot. Washington wanted Jay Daniels, so they would have.
But did the Giants have the ability? The Giants had the ability.
No. Without trading to Washington, they weren't going to do that.
Oh, okay. So I thought it was a situation where the Giants.
No, it was Chicago 1, Washington 2, Giants 3 in that order. No, Giants was actually number 7 in the draft order. So Washington was never moving out of that spot.
Copy that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to business moves, you want to throw the GM under the bus. Go ahead, have at it. Yeah. It's the owner, i.e. Phoenix Suns. It's the owner. The owner gets to decide what he wants to do. Take on a non-trade clause with Bradley Beal, okay? And then realize Nurkic wasn't the same after Draymond Green clothesline, okay? And now you have a disgruntled Kevin Durant who's like, I don't want to be here. So blow it all up. Start from scratch. You get to do that as a business owner. So guys need to understand that's how the business works. It's not the GM, which everybody wants to throw under the bus. I'm confused about that.
Yeah, free agency in general is not gonna be very sexy at all. But I tell you what, though, there's gonna be a lot of whales. I think there'll be a lot of whales on the move this summer. Yeah, I think you're gonna have I think you keep an eye on the Giannis situation. Obviously, Milwaukee, if he gets frustrated, obviously Ja could be on the move. I think Kevin Durant's definitely on the move this summer.
Kevin Durant's gone.
Trae Young, I think, could be on the move this summer. It's a lot of stars that while free agency isn't sexy in terms of like who the guys hit in the market. I think there's gonna be a lot of trades this summer. I think Luka, and I gotta say it one more time, the Luka situation really exacerbated what sign things to come. Because while people are laughing at Nico Harrison, and look, Nico Harrison, we get to Nico Harrison now because that was the next thing on my docket. And to me, what bothered me with Nico Harrison was more not so much the trade itself, but more so he didn't even test the market and see we could have gotten forward Luka. Because again, I keep saying this: if Mikal Bridges can get 5 first-round picks. Who the fuck is Luke? I mean, really, what are we doing here? And I'm gonna play a clip too because my man Nico did a press conference after the season was over, his end of season press conference. And look, I don't blame him wholeheartedly for everything that happened here. I think ownership has to take some blame here too, also. But some of the shit he was saying was off the rip. I mean, I'm gonna play a 30-second quick clip of Nico Harrison at the end of the season press conference.
Did the anger and outrage from the fan base, has that exceeded what you were kind of planning for?
Yeah, good question. I did know that Luka was important to the fan base. I didn't quite know it to what level, but really the way we looked at, if you're putting a team on the floor that's Kyrie, Clay, PJ, Anthony Davis, and Lively, we feel that's a championship caliber team. And we would have been winning at a high level, and that would have quieted some of the outrage.
Why bother talking? Why bother talking? Like, you're better off saying next question or no comment. Like, seriously, like you just think. I don't get it. It's like sometimes just don't say anything. It's just better not to say anything and let people think what they want to think. But you saying I did not know. Well, first off, that's to me. That's borderline fireball in itself because you don't know how important Luka is to your franchise or to your franchise and the fans. Then you're not paying attention to what's going on with your fan base in general. Go ahead, your thoughts.
Dirk Nowitzki 2.0.
Yes,
comes to Dallas. Dirk is God. Okay, Dirk has a statue out there, if I'm not mistaken.
He may have one, or he's about to have one.
No, I'm sure he has a statue. I think I saw one. He's leaning back when you check it. But statue plays 20-something years in Dallas, brings them a championship. You bring in the second coming of Dirk Nowitzki, Luka Doncic. Dallas fans are rejoicing. Yes, we have another 20 years of this. Yes. And you've been Nico Harrison. You've been part of the team for 4 years. Mm-hmm. 4 years? And you said what? You didn't think that? I'm asking Dallas fans online after the trade, hey guys, even after the trade, Kyrie's still healthy. AD's still healthy. If they bring you a chip this year, was the trade worth it? And some of them said, no. We don't want a chip with AD and Kyrie and PJ Washington and Gabbard. We don't want, no, Lively. We don't want a chip with them. We wanted to win a chip with Luka. We just saw what happened the year before. So it was a tease. So now here we are like, yes, we're back. We're back in the fold. And you say, wait a minute. We're going to trade Luka. And you mentioned something interesting. You're like, well, you couldn't have gotten more? It wasn't about more.
That's the worst part of the whole trade. It wasn't a trade. It wasn't trading him. Still a bad move, but I get it because you're making, as you mentioned earlier in the podcast, a business decision. Like, I don't want to commit $350 million to this guy because of things that we see. I get that. That's your business model. I get that. But the least you can do is get the biggest return for him. You didn't do that either. And to me, that's worse than the trade itself.
Well, it's a conversation because, AD's no slouch.
Agreed, but we also know the narrative on AD. He's also injury prone. Which we saw this year in Dallas.
Christ. The concept is, AD is not just tinfoil,
Right. Right.
He is worth something. I don't know if it's AD and then another big piece for Luka, but the concept was Luka for AD. That was just the concept. So we're looking at more. I'm addressing the fact that it wasn't about a more situation. It was a matter of the relationship and who they wanted. Dallas said, okay, if we're going to get rid of Luka, what's the biggest return we can get in terms of both sides of the ball? And it was like AD. But will they even think about getting rid of? Would the Lakers even think about getting rid of AD? So here's Pelinka getting a phone call like, hey, thinking about trading Luka. Let me call you back. Rob Pelinka called Jeannie Buss. It's like, I just got a phone call. Because mind you, it had to be between like only two people or three. Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka. I don't think anybody else knew.
No, it was very close, shut in case thing. Yeah.
Owner and the GM. No one else knew. So
right.
It was like, Rob was like, Jeannie, Luka Doncic is available. What do you want? What do they want? Do they want LeBron, AD? They want AD. And what else? Well, LeBron's about to retire in the next 2-3 years. AD's injury prone. It looks like he's on his last legs. Can he carry the team by himself? Clearly he can't. He needs LeBron. So we need to clearly set us up for the next, 10, 15 years. Make a trade. Click. That's it. So when LeBron's gone, it's Luka's show now.
The only part of the Dallas I actually defended initially was that, yeah, a core of Kyrie, AD, and Klay Thompson with the pieces they had already there can compete for title in the immediate. But we also acknowledged too that the window was maybe 2 years, and that's also assuming that all the guys stay healthy. But the problem is all those guys are injury prone, and Kyrie's gone until a little middle next year. AD got hurt 3 quarters into his debut. So you saw it play out for you immediately from the rip. So again,
there's ways.
Go ahead.
There's ways. I was going to say there's ways to. They have 2 centers. They have Lively and they have Gabbard.
Right.
Okay. AD doesn't have to play the 5. He could play the 4. So that in itself will save him from injuries, a lot of injuries, and have him have many advantages during the season. Cool.
Right.
If they can if Klay, Kyrie, and some of these rookies take a next step up, next 2 or 3 years, Dallas will be right there, and they'll be able to compete with the Jokers and the Chets because they have a front line that's formidable. Compete with the Senguns as well. They have a front line that's formidable enough to defensive, have a good defensive strategy. And Jason Kidd's old school, clearly. I believe, defensive championships, and so does he. So he wants a situation where it's going to be defense that helps them win, not so much offense, because let's be clear. Dallas is in the finals against the Boston Celtics. They couldn't defend.
Right.
They couldn't stop anybody. Period. So if they could actually stop some people, possibly they'd get farther than. And once again, as an owner, do I want to spend do I want to give somebody $400 million that doesn't take defense seriously?
So there's the argument there to not pay him. I get that part, but again, to me, it was the return that really made it worse. By the way, Dirk does have a statue in Dallas. In fact, it's a gorgeous statue of him doing the fadeaway,
leaning back.
Nice, it's gorgeous.
Bro,
I love it. Yeah. So my brother, shout out to my brother Eric, who's actually also a frequent guest on this podcast. He sent me a text the other day. I want to bring it up to you. And he said that if you took a snippet of the last 10, 11 years, is there an argument that Kawhi Leonard overall has had a better decade than Kevin Durant? So I told him, depends what you measure better. So 10-year sample, who's had the better decade between the two, in your opinion?
In those 10 years, KD won 2 championships.
That's correct.
2 championships, and then Kawhi won 1.
He won one. Well, technically one because 2014 was the first one he got. See, if you want to loop in we can loop.
Yeah, I'm trying to see which 10 years.
Okay, you know what? For argument, let's go 11 years since that'll loop in the Spurs championship. So 11 years. Make it more palatable for the argument.
Okay, wait. So it's 11 years. So we're talking about the Spurs and a Toronto chip.
Correct. So it's basically 2014 Spurs championship starts there, which also happened to be, I think, Durant's MVP year too, also 2014. To now, today, present day.
All right. So which one?
See,
so when you say define better,
yeah, exactly.
Define better. I'm not doing with the better. You know what I'm going to do with? Which career I would rather have? Me. I would much rather have Kawhi's career.
Why?
Great question. Number one, let's take it back. I was the reason the Spurs had an actual dynasty. I was the main cog. When I say main cog is, you have your Tim Duncan, you have your Tony Parker, you have your Manu Ginobili. Mm-hmm. Good job, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm not giving you offense and defense on LeBron, you guys don't win nothing.
You ain't sniffing shit. Right, I agree.
Okay, so that means...
Would you acknowledge that Kawhi on that 2014 team was their best player at that point, or was he still on the come up, you think?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Both.
Right?
So both. Both.
Yes. Hall of Famer Tim Duncan. Hall of Famer Tony Parker. I think Manu will be a Hall of Famer. If he's not already. If he's not already. 3 Hall of Famers. They deferred to Kawhi. Okay? Young boy Kawhi. Okay. Then he doesn't like, Toronto doesn't like what Kawhi doesn't like what they're doing in San Antonio, requests a trade. He's like, I want to go here. They're like, we're not sending you nowhere you want to go. San Antonio, That's how dirty they are. They're like, Toronto, that's our best. That's what we're going to send you to Toronto. We're going to get those pieces, and you have that. God bless. Mm-hmm. Goes to Toronto. No one has any expectations. The tea leaves are, they get Kawhi. We don't know how healthy he's going to be, possibly, but he's going to be joining Van Fleet, Marc Gasol. He's going to have some pieces around him, right? Wins a goddamn championship, brings the first championship to Toronto, to Canada, first NBA basketball championship to Canada.
And maybe the only one you may ever seen in a lifetime, to be honest with you.
Probably the only one you've never seen in your lifetime. Okay? Mm-hmm. Got Kyle Lowry some money. Got Van Vliet some money. Got Gasol some money forward in their next travels in terms of their next locations. Okay?
Of course.
Now, you land that plane, obviously, because you have the injuries going forward. And now this is the first time I've seen Kawhi, like the other night, 15 for 17 from the field. That was the sexiest and agile Kawhi I've seen since 2014 Spurs Kawhi. Defensively and offensively. I was highly impressed. I said, they shot his knees up. Lord have mercy. Whatever you have in those knees, keep him going because he looks great. Okay. Then I look at Kevin Durant, one of the greatest players in the game. You're up 3-1 against OKC. At OKC against Golden State. You lose to them. The next year, you get phone calls from Draymond Green.
Next year, fucking literally a month later.
We can't get over LeBron James. We need you.
Yeah.
And there was a conversation, same conversation that people was talking about it. I was like, yeah, that's a good point. People was like, yeah, Kevin Durant took the call. Why did he? He could have said no. He could have said no. No, I'm good with James. I'm good with Russ right now. I'm good. We're gonna run it back next year, and we're gonna crack you in the forehead. Click. I'd have loved that. I would have loved that. Oh, you cry because LeBron? Click.
Not my problem.
I'm gonna take you out, and I'm gonna take him out. That's how I get down. That's
not how he's wired. Unfortunately, I think what we're realizing too now in 2025 is that's not how Kevin Durant is wired to begin with.
Clearly,
that's fine.
He's not wired like that. God bless. But again, he's like, I'll join you guys. I'll leave Russ and James. I won't even call Russ and let him know I'm leaving. I'm just gonna leave, and then I'm gonna join Golden State and win 2 chips, win Finals MVPs. And then now I'm here. Now, mind you, he goes to Brooklyn Nets and he takes them to the finals. Possibly, I'm having a different conversation. Possibly, right? Kevin Durant would have done what Kawhi did. Yeah. In essence, go to another team and lift that team to a championship. He was close. I'm not going to get it twisted. He was close, but that other guy, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He did it. Yeah. He said, I'm not leaving. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do everything I possibly can to win a chip. Points, scoring, rebounds, assists, blocks, defense, and he ended up pulling out 1. Just like Dirk Nowitzki ended up pulling out 1. And the argument could always go into, so just to land the plane, I'm picking Kawhi's career. And the argument is, and I tell people all the time, LeBron James' ring in Cleveland is worth more than the 2 in Miami.
I agree with that 100%, actually.
And if we get an honest Bron one day, maybe when he's sipping his tequila, and he's watching one of his shows, one day he says yes. Because if you look at the Cleveland championship, he beats a 73-9 team, if I'm not mistaken, beats the best regular season team in the NBA in the finals. Okay? Brings the championship to Cleveland where he's from.
And it was the catalyst that forced them to get Durant in the first place. Back to argument. Because I don't think if Golden State wins that title, I'm not even sure if Durant goes to Golden State.
You dig me? You see? So I lean towards Kawhi.
So you lean Kawhi better career. If you did a top players list all time, would you put Durant ahead of Kawhi though?
I mean, all time is Durant because of the numbers.
Correct. Because this for me is an interesting argument. Because I'm gonna give my take here. Like career-wise, Kawhi's an argument because that Toronto championship is heavily weighted for the reasons we just mentioned a while ago. We're probably never seeing a team from Canada, unless some team gets moved there that we know, or win a title again. So
first year there.
Because the comparisons are there though. Both got 2 rings, both have 2 Finals MVPs, right? Now KD has an MVP. Kawhi does not. Okay, so that argument might edge KD for me on that one. But at the same time, the Golden State title. I don't want to be one of those guys to take away from KD because he did put them over the top.
Not taking it away. Not taking it
But
away.
at the same time, though, is it weighted in the same way we weight Kawhi's title?
That's it.
It's not.
It's not taking away. It's a weighing.
But Kawhi. Now, what hurts Kawhi look, probably career-wise, I may take Kawhi for the same reason because of the fact that that title means more than the two KD titles. Because the KD titles were expected. Oh, good job. Well, whatever. We were supposed to do this.
Like, did we not expect KD
what are we doing here?
State
right.
and win 5 rings?
Right. So, to me, but the Kawhi one's weighing heavy. Now, KD, for me, wins the argument solely because of availability. Because, again, Kawhi's injuries, you have. I mean, the first thing I look at is this player available to play basketball? And Kawhi, unfortunately, most of his career has not been able to do that. So KD, for me, wins that overall. But, God, if you're doing an actual debate on this, there is an argument that Kawhi is in the conversation just solely because of that Toronto title.
100%.
Because certain titles mean more than others. And that's just a fact of nature. People say, oh, 7 rings, more rings. Yeah. But there's some championships when you put in more context that just mean more than others. And Kawhi 2019 title in Toronto means more probably than – it's like Dirk. Same thing when you mentioned Dirk. Dirk's one title in Dallas, though, means more than, 3 of LeBron's titles.
He took out the Heatles.
Yep.
The team that was favored.
And then the Kobe Laker dynasty.
I guarantee you, if you ask Jordan, the GOAT, if you ask Michael Jordan, weigh your rings, he's going to weigh the first one.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
And he's going to weigh the first one coming back for the second one.
Yeah, because his dad, after his dad passed away, his first back. Yep.
First one, you get over the hump with Pistons, and then you beat the mighty Lakers. Boom, big. Then you lose the year before
to Orlando.
Orlando Magic. They're talking shit about you all summer. You ain't Jordan no more. You 45. You 45. You ain't got it. He said, all right. Patent leather Jordans, black and white. Watch me work. Came back and gave you what? 73 and what did he give you? 72 and 10?
And then swept the Magic in the conference finals. That same team. People forget that. Swept the Magic. That's why to go.
I'm not even giving y'all a chance to breathe.
Yep.
I'm gonna remind y'all because y'all gave me months to stew, and that's what I wanted Kevin Durant to do.
Yeah, but that's not who he is, unfortunately.
Facts. I'm spoiled, right? I saw Jordan do it. I saw Kobe do it. I'm spoiled.
Right.
God bless. But I want somebody to stew. Like I said, get angry. That's not his makeup, and I appreciate that and respect that. No problem. And I don't want him to get upset. He's very sensitive. I don't want him to get upset because people want him to be something that he is not. However, your resume will always be questioned. It is what it is. And that's just based off of you, no one else. You create your resume.
You're right.
You define your resume. We don't do it. We don't put things on your resume. The only thing we can do is go like this. MVP, All-Stars, USA Championships. Says here you up 3-1. We can't change that.
And I tell folks this all the time when it comes to when we're talking about like the tippy top of the all-time grades and how we weigh the rankings. It's a game of inches. Context matters. You're not getting past this for shit. So the reason why I have Jordan and LeBron, even though LeBron, although it can be argued LeBron had a better career, it can be argued. Okay. There is no 2011 Dallas series on Jordan's resume anywhere. Oh, but guys, there's no buts. When we're doing top 2, 3 all time, buts matter. The buts don't matter anymore. The buts hurts you in the argument. Them be the rules. Hate to break it to you, and that's why Jordan is LeBron for me. That's for that reason. There's no 2011 meltdowns on Jordan's resume because even when he lost to Detroit, he averaged 35, 37 a game against Detroit.
That's the question. But when you ask people, it's like, where did LeBron go against the Dallas Mavericks? They're like, oh, and I'm like,
He's short-circuited. He's short. Again, rewatch games 3 through 5. And look, I'm a fucking Heat fan. I experienced it as a fan. So trust me, I know this. He cost Dwayne Wade a final MVP in that series. I've still not forgiven LeBron in that series. So I'm not.
He said, "What
so miss me the bullshit, dude."
He called him a tether.
Bro, literally cost him a final MVP in that series because Dwayne had a phenomenal series.
Dude, when did he not? He is the third best
shooting guard
of all time.
Yeah, so
not even an argument. So
it's a game of inches, brother. How you bring everybody else? Okay, let's shift that to sports media talk. Okay, give me your thoughts on the Shannon Sharpe scandal. Glasses off. Here we go.
When I first read the story that came out, I have a thing I do where I wait a little bit and wait for more information. I don't jump the gun. I wait a couple of days to let it flush out because, sometimes things are put out there and then pulled back. It's no information. So I wanted to give it a couple of days. Days went by. And so there's things for me that are so egregious, so out of this world, so crazy for a 56-year-old man to be dealing with. I had to pause. I had cause to pause. I was just like, what am I reading? First and foremost, 19 years old, 54. There's this confusion where it's like, if it's legal, it's okay. Where there are things called morals, ethics, and values. MEV, morals, ethics, and values. Okay. And I know some of you that are watching don't subscribe to that. Fine, no problem. No morals, ethics, and values for you. You have Bill Belichick, who's 77, messing with a 20-something-year-old. Whether you want to say morals, ethics, and values with that, I don't know. First egregious problem is the gauge gap. Second problem is you not having an NDA anywhere. Anywhere. Third problem, your lawyer. Your lawyer said you were in conversations about a settlement? You don't, and in certain situations you do settle because of XYZ. So many different variables that you may settle. It's a long, don't want to drag this on. I get that concept. And this is after Shannon Sharpe's statement, video statement. This is a shakedown by Tony Busby. Then you mentioned Jay-Z. The Jay-Z story was buffoonery because everyone knew Jay-Z likes women, not babies. However, you, Shannon, you have clips of your guests coming on your show telling you, Shannon, leave them young snow bunnies alone.
Mm-hmm.
Guests telling you to your face. You have Cat Williams on there mentioning something about Jonathan Majors and saying things that could have been literally directed right towards you, Shannon. Your grandmother tells you all these things. My grandmother told me, well, if it don't walk, it got no legs. Your grandmother tells you all these things, yet she didn't tell you to watch out for the 19-year-old who could possibly be lining you up. Huh? And then you think it's okay to say, y'all just releasing half of the video or the text messages or the audio. Release it all. No. I told my wife. I said, let me tell you something. You play Uno?
Yeah, I do.
Familiar with the game, right? Cool. Yeah. A lot of people play Uno, love the game.
We own it. We own it here in the house. Yeah.
Love to play when I can, right? Okay. Let me tell you something. Tony Busby had draw fours, reverses, skips. Why are you even playing games with a hand like that? When you're coming out and saying, oh, it's an OnlyFans girl. You were still fucking with her, weren't you?
Why
does it matter now that she's OnlyFans? Yeah. Why does it matter that she's OnlyFans girl now? Why does that? Are you trying to embarrass her? You should be embarrassed. You should be embarrassed.
Yeah, that's the worst things. Yeah, 56. Yeah.
My wife, me and my wife having a conversation. I said, are there 30, 40-year-old OnlyFans girls? I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure on this earth, millions of people, I'm sure they're 30, 40-year-old, 50-year-old, 60-year-olds OnlyFans. Why do you want the 19-year-old, Shannon? Control, sexual control. And then you realize, backing up, for those who don't know, do your research on the Kobe Bryant Denver situation. Mm-hmm. If you do your research, I was early in the game when this actually happened. I was defending Kobe hard. I said, shake down. This can't happen. She's going for money. Why would Kobe even? Kobe's married. I'm throwing everything out in the sun. And my man, shout out to Nelson Best. My man came to me and said, yo, I saved this article for you. Read it. I said, oh, no doubt. He said, what? I said, what somebody said? Read it. It's about Kobe Bryant and what he said to the detectives when they first got there. And I read the article and I went back to Nelson Best and I told him, I said, I am sorry. I've changed my stance. He's in trouble. Guys, and this is just directed to guys only, okay? Mm-hmm. This is directed to guys only. I'm of an age where I can talk to my, I'm uncle level, right? I'm uncle level. I can talk to my young boys, right? Okay, let me talk to you guys. 30, 20 years old, okay? You have to be very careful about how you're moving around in these streets with these women. You have to be very careful. Okay, consent is important. Consent is very important. And let me tell you something. Give you an example of why consent is very important. I'll keep it clean and PC. If I say you can wear this hat, you wear the hat, cool, I gave you consent. It's about clothing, right? If I say you can wear this hat, we're talking about just clothes. If I say you can wear this hat, that's consent. But if you take this hat and then try to take my jacket too, I didn't give you consent for my jacket.
Only for the hat.
I give you consent for my hat. Take my hat, you're good. Now you want to be I need the jacket to go with the hat. No, you don't. I didn't give you consent for that. You decide to take my jacket. Guess what? That's a crime. That's a crime. Mm-hmm. So in this instance, the young lady had a crime committed against her by Shannon Sharpe. By the technical definition, if you're getting technical, read between the lines is what I'm trying to say.
Let me ask you, what is the actual accusation that's criminal though in this? Obviously, there's a moral part of this. Obviously, he's 56, she's 19. It is legal for the record, but it's still creepy. We also agree with that too also. But she says it was sexual assault?
Grape.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant, grape. 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 Kobe Bryant settled. He took it. They went all the way to court and it didn't finalize. He settled. Kobe was told not to do something. He did it anyway. Shannon Sharpe was not giving consent to do what he did. He did it anyway. And I keep telling people, you know what's interesting? In the week, 7 days a week, if a young lady decides to give me consent for 6 days, on the 7th day, if I go back and she says no, and I take it, guess what that is? EJ?
Mm-hmm.
Grape.
I am so grateful. And look, I'm not famous or anything like that, but I, as a man in my mid-40s, I am so grateful I am in a great marriage, a woman I love, I still love, We're 20 years. We're almost 20 years together. We've been married 14 years, and I'm
Same.
so happy in that,
Same.
brother.
15.
There is
15
so much.
me.
There we go, brother. Congrats. I'm as grateful. We both should be grateful that we're in situations that we are stable and not have to worry about all that kind of shit. I have no interest in being out there, and because even if my intentions are well and good, the world's crazy, man. The world's crazy.
The world works just like people are surprised. Listen, the world is not any different than high school.
Right.
I keep telling people over and over and over again. Just think back to high school. The rules are the same regardless. Back in high school, I'm sitting back looking at hip hop videos because when we're talking about programming and talking about these guys that are programmed to think that, oh, if she says yes 5 days out of the week, that 6th day, if she happens to tell me no, I can still take it. Mm-hmm. Okay? You have all these videos, all these, music, all these rap songs where it's telling you this, that, and the third. And I'm sitting back saying, because I have MEV, mm-hmm. morals, ethics, and values, I'm questioning things like, well, that doesn't seem like it's right.
But I'm going to steal that from you now. MEV. I'm going to put it right here next to me. MEV. Just to have it sitting right there for myself to remind me morals, ethics, and values. Always.
Morals, ethics, and values. And Shannon, let's say you don't go back to ESPN. Let's say that ship sails. Okay, cool. Even if you stay, we know what it is. You were too big to fail. Fine, no problem. Shout out to Michael Irvin. Shout out to Paul Pierce. They got let go for less because they weren't too big to fail. Shannon maybe. Having stated all that, this is going to disappear. This will disappear. It's a matter of
when. You think
so?
You think it will?
It's going to disappear. It's a matter of when. It's a matter of when. You're not going to hear from her because if she gets a payout, she's not going to talk about it anymore because she's going to sign an NDA.
She already turned down $10 million payout settlement. She said no, and so
whatever the settlement is, yeah. For me, if you want to give me 10 and I know I'm worth 25, yeah, give me 30.
Well, we say 25 gave for each cheek.
Again, let's
I'm
let's
sorry,
put
man.
aside the fact bro, let's put aside the fact that Big Black Baby. I'm reading the text messages.
Did he told her that?
She texted him.
Him, right.
Mind you, I'm reading the text messages. I want you to put a big black baby in me. That's in January. I said, okay. Now, mind you, that's the first, my bell started going off. Just flying. I'm like, maybe that's their thing because it's text messages. Okay. Maybe that's their thing. Please I hope she didn't say it again. Please. 6 months later, she says it again. I said, okay. If that doesn't bother him, that says more about him than her.
Right.
So to land the plane, I said, if you're a guest, you still gonna go to Shannon Sharpe's show knowing that he settled with the woman that he was taken advantage of? You still gonna where is Shannon's integrity going to be? Is it not in the trash? Why should I pay attention to anything else he says when he has no integrity? He cannot hang his integrity hanger on anything.
So you don't think it's a shakedown? You think maybe it's a little bit of both?
To me, it can't be a shakedown if you offer the money. A shakedown is someone thinks they have, for me anyway, someone thinks they have something on you and they're like, well, if you don't, someone thinks, shakedown, thinks they have something on you. And they're like, well, Shannon, I have something on you. If you don't, and it's like, what do you have? You have Jay-Z? Perfect example of a shakedown. Tony Busby hears about Puffy and a girl. All of a sudden goes Puffy the girl and then Jay-Z. Then he sends information to Jay-Z saying, hey, by the way, we got this girl saying that you did this with her. So if you want to send us $25 million, the next day, Jay-Z said, big bro, this is a lie. You cost me money, and I'm coming for your head. It wasn't the fact that, this is a shakedown. Yes, it was. I'm acknowledging three things.
It makes it worse when, like, in Shannon's case, that there was actual, a relationship, quote unquote, there on top of that too. Also, you know what I'm saying? So there's definitely something there. How much there? At the end of the day, for me, is more. To me, the end of the day is this: as creepy as that whole thing was, the age gap of that, and I agree with 100% on that. Was there anything done illegally? In other words, was there a criminal act done here? So I'm trying to keep the basic. If he raped her, obviously, massive problem, should be in jail, the whole nine. But if this was consensual and it's proven to be consensual, I can live with that, because at the end of the day, I mean, he's obviously a freak, but it's in the realms of legalities, and I'll leave it at that.
You for 6 days out of the 7, you got consent. The 7th day, you did not.
Right?
Is that consent?
No. So, and that's the thing. If that, yeah.
You can't. I'm just, as a hypothetical.
Absolutely. Well, question.
This is when I take you back to one of my call center days. Okay, I'm in the call center working. I walk. I have a bunch of guys I know, girls there, all of that. Right. So we're there. I'm sitting down. My man walks by, and I quote, walks by a girl. He goes, "Yeah, those are some." What did he say? He said, "Those are some nice milk duds." I said, "What?" I grabbed him up. I said, "Yo, bro, you can't say that. You can't say that." Why not? He said, "Sexual harassment. You can't say that. She can go to HR and get you fired." He's like, "No, she won't." I said, "Why?" I said, "Because I'm cute." I said, "Good. Let me take that further. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, milk dud. No response whatsoever. She's laughing, giggling. She's giggling. Friday, she goes to HR. What's your defense? I call her milk dud every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. What's wrong with Friday? That's your defense? You're going to be let go.
That's right. 100%.
You're going to be let go.
It's great.
You're going to be let go. Jay-Z didn't have a relationship with this girl. You had a relationship with this girl, Shannon. So why are you bringing up Jay-Z? You had a relationship with her.
She's trying to find cover. That's why.
That's my point. So if I'm Jay-Z, I'm like, shut the fuck up, please. Don't bring up my name. It's not even the same realm, like not even the same distance. Again, I checked off 3 things in my statement. I said it was a Jay-Z. I said it was a shakedown. I said it was a lie. And I said I'm coming. And I said I'm coming for your boy's neck. This is not going to be a stop, and I'm going to protect myself. No, I'm going on offense now. Shannon, you can't go on offense. Why? Mm-hmm. Because they have all the offensive pieces. They have all the text, the audio, the video. You can't go on offense. You're on defense. You will forever be on defense. You can't be Jay-Z. Stop it.
Yep. I agree.
So
I agree with you. Yep.
Shannon's going to be fine. He makes all his money from his shows on YouTube.
Yeah,
he's going to be fine.
He'll live up ESPN too.
Say again.
He doesn't need. Honestly, he doesn't really need ESPN. Honestly,
he does not need ESPN, so he'll be fine. The question will be: is what kind of integrity will he carry moving forward, where people will go on his show and just continue the show? Like, what kind of integrity do you have as a man? You're 50-something years old dating 19-year-olds. That's not by mistake. That's by design. Right. So you're asking these, it's by design. So literally, Monique literally telling you to your face, like, you need your old lady. You don't need these young girls. They're going to take advantage of you.
Right.
They're going to take advantage of you. Lo and behold, we're here.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. I know you're short on time, so I want to hit on one last thing we got here. Another, not a scandal, but, a continuation of a meltdown or, look, I love Kanye West and his music, but this turn, I mean, this has been going damn well 10, 15 years now. I think to me the turn really started with the whole Taylor Swift thing at the VMAs in 2009. But I think if you told me 16 years later we're talking about Kanye West, swastika, KKK, and now talking about alleged molestation or whatever, or sucking his cousin's dick or some shit, whatever it was, I would say nah. But hell, we are.
Because
let me ask you this. I'll keep it simple. How does this Kanye story end?
it's a good question. Let me take it to the beginning of the issue, and let me say what I think could happen.
Yeah.
Kanye's mom was taken from him.
Yeah.
When I say taken, she died because she was trying to get a plastic surgery. Her body wasn't prepared for it. Doctor told her not to do it. She went to another doctor. That doctor tried, and she died on the operating table.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since then, and that's clearly before the Taylor Swift thing.
Now, she died in 2005, right? 2006.
I'm sure I can pull it up, but
I'll look right now. Keep
yeah,
for you.
I started noticing things when his mom died. When his mom died, and obviously dealing with Amber Rose, and he goes to Kim Kardashian. 2007. Does deal with Amber Rose, and he goes to Kim Kardashian, and then he becomes Kanye, the yes man. Everybody around him starts giving him yes man, and then the people that actually have their own thoughts, their own morals, ethics, and values said enough. Pusha T rode the wave until he could not ride the wave anymore. Common, Big Sean, Don C, John Legend, Jay-Z. They rode the wave for as long as they possibly could until their morals, ethics, and values said enough. We cannot be around you. Okay? Then you have Kanye trying to create new music. He said, "Well, I need to work with people, but my name isn't as great out there. So let me pull in Playboy. My bad. Let me pull in Ty Dolla $ign, because that's the only, I guess the last person I have a relationship with. Mm-hmm. That ship has sailed. Let me bring in Playboy Cardi. That ship has sailed. Let me bring in Jim Jones. That ship has sailed." So you ask me, where does this end? And I don't want to say where it ends because I think I know where it is. Mm-hmm. Ends badly. If you can read between the lines where I'm going, what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It ends badly because you have to understand, in order for you to, he's almost there. I'm not saying quite there, because attention is attention, right? When you can still call academics, that's attention, right? It's to where you're making phone calls and no one's picking up the phone. I'm talking about whether blacklist. I'm talking about no one's picking up the phone. He still has people, even my man Danny McBride from shout out to the Righteous Gemstones on HBO. If you don't watch that show,
I gotta watch that, by the way. It's on the list. You like it?
It is the funniest show on television. Please watch it.
Here's what I'll do. I'll catch up on that show, and then what I'll do, because I know this is the last season of the show, I'll catch up on the show, and the next one on the podcast, we'll break it down, you and I. Just kind of.
Danny McBride tells a story about Kanye West just calling him out of the blue saying, "I love the show. Can I come talk to you about it?" Danny McBride said, "Yo, it's fucking Kanye West. Am I supposed to say no?" Yes. Yes. But it's Kanye West, so he still has that juice. When he gets to the point where that juice is no longer viable, when you're making phone calls and no one's picking up the phone,
that's it.
No, it's not going to end well. Kanye's been famous for about 20 plus years. He's trying. I don't know why he thinks he needs to do this, whether you want to point to a sickness, whether you want to point to, like I said, his mom passing and him never being the same ever again. I don't think, and I'm a hip hop head.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen this type of turn. Usually it'll be alcoholism, drugs, crack, cocaine will take an artist in a different
Yes, of
direction.
course. We've seen the stories in all kinds of music. Yep. And any music in general. Yep.
And Jimi Hendrix, the list goes on and on. How many people, what's my Amy Winehouse? The list goes on and on of these phenomenal artists where it's just like a drug took them and they couldn't come back. Robert Downey Jr. was, hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Robert Downey Jr. was this close to being no one. This close. And then Iron Man.
He's he's bigger than he is now than he ever been.
Okay. So I pray I'm wrong. I pray I'm wrong about Kanye West. I pray I am. But me sitting back and watching him move, watching what's happening around him. I mean, yeah, he says this, I did this with my cousin, this, that, and the third. What makes you think it's okay to talk about someone else's family's health? You're talking about kids' health. Yeah, but I'd say Jay-Z's kids are sick. Why? You know, people get touched for that.
And the worst part too with Kanye, I know it's easy to make fun of Kanye and criticize him, and rightly so. He has kids. He has kids. He has 2 kids.
The conversation, Ye has what? No, he has 3. 3? Is it 3? 3 kids? No,
all of Kim? All of Kim?
Right. I think he did 3 kids. 3 kids. The North.
There you go.
And then the 2 boys. Yeah. So I think Kim Kardashian said when they get old enough, the kids, they're going to make a decision on. I can't, as a mother, I'm not going to discuss what's going on that side. I'm going to have them make their own decisions about their father.
And I feel like that may be the part that, you said about the juice and the drip of like the loss of like people not wanting to fuck with them. If the kids don't want to fuck with them, that could be the final blow. I don't want to put it out there, man, but it's just the reality of the situation.
Again, yay, your kids have the phone. Go to the phone, be like, Kanye, swastika. Kanye, Ku Klux Klan hood. Kanye calls your mother a whore.
Isn't it funny? The Donald Trump stuff is like the least of the worries now. Everyone was up ahead about him supporting Donald Trump in 2017, and now in hindsight, that's like minor. It's like whatever. That's crazy.
Raising the bar.
Yeah.
Of the foolishness.
Right.
It's like, I don't know what they all right, so I can't. So me having a swastika on my chest isn't going to get them riled up. All right, so let me wear Ku Klux Klan hood.
The funny thing with me is that I don't even care anymore. Like, it's like, okay, cool. Swastika, cool. All right.
But again, I don't. There's nothing I retweet. There's nothing I view. There's nothing I entertain currently that's attached to Kanye West. I don't even stream anything after Pablo.
Okay. Some stuff's not even good after Pablo, to be honest with you.
My brother put me on. He's like, no, there's some joints. Don't get me wrong. There's some joints, like minimal joints after Pablo. I mean, again, he won a Grammy for the gospel album. So what do I know, right? But I'm saying for me, Pablo's where I stop. That church and this extra Kanye that's going on with the music, I'm not even entertaining because of his antics, because of what he does, because of who he thinks he is. That's how you erase someone. You don't even view anything online of them. You don't share it. You don't even type their name out. But we live in a society where it's strictly it's anger reaction, and Kanye knows that. So that's why I think he's trying to level up every single time. It's like, how much can I get them more angry? I call my baby mama whore. That didn't do it. I said Jay-Z's kids were retarded. That didn't do it. I said, Hitler was greatest or whatever the hell he said he did. That didn't do it. I'm wearing swastikas. That ain't do it.
No, ship with the family, the cousin,
Then you had to. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about your music. I don't care about your clothes. I don't care about your sneakers. I don't care about anything associated with your brand. So again, when you get to that point and you've been 20 years in the game, this is the same Kanye who used to walk around the mall because he wanted to get noticed when he first came out. Now he's here. What happens when he walks in the mall? And it's not a matter of being noticed. It's a matter of being looked at as disgusted. Kanye West. Ugh, let me turn my back on him.
Yeah.
That's what you want, Ye?
This has nothing but tragedy at the end. I'm sorry, this does.
Like I said I don't want to say it, but it's not going to end well because of his behavior, because of the history of what he's been through.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised. I wake up and it's like, yeah, this happened. I'm like,
there we go.
I'm like, it was sad. I'm not shocked. The documentaries are going to be they're going to be all over the place, and no one's going to have an answer. But it's going to be like, yo, he troubled soul that no one can get through because he had all the money. He's rich, and when you're rich, even guys that you grew up with, Don C, your manager, you can't do that. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Peace. I'm out. This new Kanye? I don't know. Day ones? What are the days? Like, at least Jay-Z, you look at Jay-Z, still got day ones around him. Tata. His man Emery. Still got day ones around him. Yay? All day ones gone. God bless.
Yeah.
God bless.
Anyway, Sir Denny Blanco on X. Follow, of course, the breakdown with Denny Blanco on TikTok, on Instagram. Also, the co-host of the It's In the Game podcast with Randy J. Cruz on the Cruise Control Podcast Network. Denny, this was fantastic. We'll do it again soon. Thank you. Probably going to lock it in finally. So it's been a while.
I appreciate you, and I'll be ready next time. You know what it is. I always love the conversation. I always love where we go with this. And, we don't always agree, disagree. Oh, before we get out of here, you was just 2 seconds. We were going to fight. We'll fight next time about Joker and SGA, the MVP.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they called it yet.
What we'll do is that when they announce the MVP, we'll probably just react to it. And
there we go. Yeah, when they announce the MVP.
They'll announce it in late May, I think. Late May.
Yeah, when they announced the MVP, sidebar. Because you hit me up yesterday. Yeah, before we get out, you hit me up. I was like, yo, you watching the game? I was like, there's so much going on. I didn't watch the game, and I watched the last 6 minutes of it on my phone.
Okay.
What did Joker have yesterday?
Let me check again, make sure.
Yeah, just for I thought I saw some numbers.
I'll tell you right now.
But I'm not sure. So I just want to clarify what the Joker had.
36, 21, and 8. Wow. Brother, both be right here. He's the best player in the league, and it's not even close.
You said he had 36,
21, and 8.
21 rebounds and 8 assists?
Yeah. And I'm not even saying that it's not a conversation between him and SGA, but I have a hard time looking away from 68 win season on top of that. And this team no one was even close second in that conference. I think I don't know. We'll save that debate for the next time because we'll see. Let's see where the Thunder are at this point in the playoffs, and we'll see if
30, 20, and 20.
Because we may be in the throes of the Thunder Nuggets series anyway when this happens. So it's on the table. It's on the table right now. So
I want it. I needs it.
Exactly. Yes. Well, if that happens, Aaron Gordon saved that. So there you go.
There you go.
All right, brother. Good job as always. We'll get you on the show a couple weeks from now.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it. All right, on the line with my Brother Maurice here with us.
Hello.
We're gonna react to the draft is over. There's my New York Giants mug. I got my tea with my stevia. Trying to be healthy again. So draft is shut up. All right, draft is over. I'll do a comprehensive draft podcast later in the week with probably Kyle or someone, but I want to focus on the Giants on their draft. like you already know how I feel about the drafts. It's at the end of the day, no matter who it is, it's still a crapshoot, you know.
Yeah.
But I will say, as someone who does watch college football almost to the level as NFL, there's a lot of players I'm very familiar with anyway. So I was a lot more engaged. And given the Giants are as a franchise, you have to be a little more engaged, see what guys you're getting that can plug in. I'm pretty impressed with this draft, I have to say. I mean, on paper,
I like it too.
You gotta
I
play
like it too.
out.
I'm just a little disappointed we didn't take a linebacker, outside linebacker, but whatever. It is what it is.
How many do we need? We got Banks already. You got Thibodeau on the edge. Do we play 3-4-4-3?
No, but I think we played. It's a like hybrid mixture now.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure. But
we got 3 pass rushers right now. We got Thibodeau 1 more year at least. Obviously Banks, who just signed last year free agency, and now Carter.
But I mean, like I wish we had a coverage linebacker or something like
middle
that.
linebacker. You mean? Okay.
Yeah, well, if in the 3-4, yeah, one guy would be technically. I mean, you have 2 middle linebackers, but one guy is when in zone he'll be dropping back, but then another guy will be playing the flat or whatever underneath, something like that. But in man, typically the other linebacker would go out to cover the running backs or tight ends or something like that. So I wish we had a coverage guy. It was what was that safety that we brought in from that big tall Taylor, is it, or what was his name?
I remember his name.
I can't remember.
He was on the roster last year, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he's still on the team, but he was supposed to be the coverage guy.
So Abdul Carter, number 3 pick in the draft. I'm so happy about it. To me, my attitude was we kind of knew that they weren't going to go for a quarterback early. Like the Shedeur thing, obviously we'll get to in a second. Was not going to happen. His stock lowered, and we didn't think we know how low it go. I mean, obviously lower than we all imagined. Once they signed Russell Wilson, we knew, okay, they're not going quarterback in this draft. At least not early anyway. But Abdul Carter, to me, arguably after Travis Hunter, the best player in the draft. So I'm not mad about it at all.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That's his comp. His comp is Von Miller, they say.
And Michael Parsons too.
Michael Parsons, yeah, that's another one.
Yes,
yeah.
I mean, I think we're seeing here too. Also, the priorities of this team now. They're trying to find football players, and they're building in trenches now. They're building. We're going old school here, I think now.
Yeah,
you know,
which they've been trying to do for a while now, but it was a lot of misses in the draft,
right?
Past previous years.
Yeah, but Thibodeau is quite. They picked up his option. You sent me a text on Friday. They picked up his option after they signed Carter or drafted Carter. Thibodeau will be probably one and done. He'll probably gone for this year, so they're gonna exhaust that as much as possible. And Carter will will find the spots there, of course. But yeah, I love the pick. Obviously, the big shocker for us, we traded up in the draft to get Jackson Dart. I was thinking about this too. Also, we got him at 25. In a trade with was it Houston? We traded with? Was it Houston? Right?
Houston. Yeah.
I'm a little stunned because you looked at the draft order. You had
I was about to say the same thing. I'm wondering, what did we have to even move up to draft him?
I feel like we didn't really have to. I don't know if Cleveland takes him at 33. They probably would have taken 33. But
that's what I'm thinking too. But why move all the way up to 25? You could have moved somewhere
to make sure Cleveland didn't take him, because Cleveland has 2 picks in those. That Cleveland had 33 and 37, so they had a lot to play with there. But all the teams between 26 and 32 didn't need a quarterback.
No.
But I think they didn't want to take a risk. And my goal was,
maybe those teams didn't want to trade their pick, maybe.
Right.
You know?
And the risk was, I told you my priority was, I want to lead this draft with a quarterback. Whether it's a tough quarterback, whether it was Dart, obviously Cam was a long shot because Tennessee was not getting on that pick, or Shedeur.
No.
You know, and I'm happy we got Dart. I feel, I did watch Dart a lot last year because, Ole Miss, and they were a really good team last year, and the SEC pedigree and all that. So there's some of that to be said. He's a good player. I like him a lot. Obviously, again, it's a crapshoot, but I'm just glad we came away with a quarterback that we can hopefully develop. And because this is why you signed Russ for a year, maybe even 2, we'll see. And then if Dart's right, I see a scenario where if Dart has a great camp, James is gone, DeVito could be 3rd string. I see that scenario playing out. So, what do you think about Dart? You good on that?
I like him. From what I saw in the tape, he has potential. The only knock that they were saying is that he played in a very quarterback friendly offense, and it was a lot of just one read, throw the ball. So they're not sure if he can go through progressions and handle a actual NFL playbook. They said they only ran like 7 concepts there.
Really?
So yeah. What's the coach's name?
Lane Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin. Yeah. They said they only ran like 7 concepts really. And then it was a lot of RPOs, basically just throw the ball to the open guy, the guy that's designated to get the ball, pretty much.
Brian Daboll is an offensive guru, though. So if there's anybody that can really coach him up and really get him to expand his playbook, it's probably him. I mean, he actually is the guy that really got Josh Allen to where he is today.
Yeah.
So exactly. I have faith in Brian Daboll to get the job done there. So, all right, round 3, we have Darius Alexander from Toledo at tackle. So another tackle alongside a boy, Dexter.
Yeah.
Dexter.
Apparently he's more so. He doesn't have that much pass rushing skills, but they said he's great against the run. So I don't know. That was a huge issue for us last year. We could not stop the run for shit. We were terrible against the run. So I don't know if he's going to start right away or if he's going to be a backup and they get him in there here and there, or what, on running downs. Maybe they put him in on early downs and take him out later. I don't know how that's going to work. But basically he's a run stuffer and doesn't have much pass rush skills.
All right, round 4 for me, my personal favorite pick of this whole draft, Cam Skadaboo from running back from Arizona State. So you're gonna have him play. He's a good pass catcher. This dude is a football player. He's a football player.
Yeah,
he'll be a great locker room guy, especially too. What's up back? Was it Tyrone?
Tracy.
Tracy, right?
Yeah,
he'll probably spell him a couple times here. I love this move. This for the optics and for the guy's a good leader. So I think he's going to be a good fit for the team going forward. And I think you're seeing where the Giants are at now, what kind of personality they're trying to transcribe for this franchise now. Very serious, locked in, defensive oriented kind of team, and guys who can. I think this football player is really one thing else.
Yeah, I think they want to get back to running the ball because you have Tracy. You add Skadaboo, and then who's the backup again? That guy we signed.
I forget.
He's pretty good too, though.
Yeah. Is that Singletary? Singletary's gone, right?
I think it is Singletary.
Was he the only 1-year deal though? Was he the 1-year deal?
I'm not sure. If so, then it's just Skadaboo and Tracy.
All right.
But if that's not bad either. That's not bad either.
All right, round 5, Marcus Bow, offensive lineman from Purdue. So again, another offensive lineman for us. We didn't take one last year.
Yeah. Apparently, he was the 65th ranked player, but he dropped because of injury issues.
Of course.
So we got him at 154, but he's actually ranked the 65th best player in the draft.
Right.
On most draft boards.
Then we have 2 round 7 picks. We got first Thomas Fedone at tight end from Nebraska. We need another tight end.
We drafted that guy last year. He looked pretty good. It's just we didn't have a quarterback to get him the ball. So he's not this Fedone. He's not going to be a starter. He's just going to be like a backup, maybe run blocker or something like that. Get some 2 tight end sets out there. But the other tight end that we drafted last year, he's the starter.
But wouldn't you rather like them just draft another offensive lineman just to kind of have an extra body there just to work with? I don't understand.
Maybe they didn't have enough depth because we have a lot of offensive linemen. But I don't think we have enough depth at tight end. So I think that's what that draft is all about. That draft pick.
Right. All right, and then round 7, the last round 7 pick here, we had a corner, Corey Black from Oklahoma State.
Yeah, special teams player.
Yeah,
special teams player. That's all.
Basically, tuck him somewhere on the roster.
Yeah,
somewhere. Oh,
and there's more depth at corner too.
Yeah, I think overall they had a really good draft. I'm not trying to be a homer here because I'm always skeptical about these picks, but I feel good about this team. Look, I think this team will be very frisky next year. Look, they're not going to. There's no way in hell they're going to be battling with Philadelphia. Philadelphia is the best team in the league right now.
Yeah,
I don't even think they'll battle with Washington, but I think Dallas is kind of in that little like, who are we situation there. New York, I can see winning. I can see New York close to doubling their win total from last year.
Yeah. Depending
I
on
got 7-10. I can see 7-10 next year for this team.
depending on how good the defense is, if Russ can tap into his old self and make plays, we might actually be fairly decent. Now, a playoff team,
Dude,
I'm not sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, Russ wasn't bad last year. Russ had a rough ending to the year, but he also had a malcontent receiver in George Pickens.
Yeah.
You know, and he felt a little bit at the end of the year, but I thought he was really good for most of the season last year.
Yeah, he was decent. But
Yeah.
there's no upside really. You know what you're getting with him, type of thing. You can't really move around anymore.
Right, and you're grading. Everybody's comparing Russ to what he used to be in Seattle. You can't do that. But is he a stabilizing force? Absolutely. Can you get the playoffs with Russ? Possibly, depending on you get break care there, and and you don't lose games. Yeah. So I'm with you on that. I think it's not a bad pick actually.
If our defense can be, I think if Russ can keep the offense on schedule and stay on the field, not saying putting up a ton of points, but not going 3 and out all the time. I think our defense can be really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can be a top 10 defense.
Absolutely, but the talent, we were a decent defense last year. It just that offense was so fucking bad that what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
you can't move the ball anyway. Then what are you gonna do? So I'm with you there on that one. The Shedeur thing, I don't want to talk about this. You had said on Thursday you think it was a conspiracy.
Yeah,
it's went through Friday and he didn't get drafted either.
Yeah. It's got to be. It's something NFL sending some kind of message or something like that. From what we hear, a lot of teams were saying that this guy is too overconfident and he's got like a bravado to him, and teams didn't like it. Like he was cocky or whatever. So a lot of people are saying it's a conspiracy by the NFL to try to humble him or whatever. And then there was other people saying that because of how basically players are trying to control the narrative and control where they go and control this and control that. That's another reason why he fell. Another conspiracy is people didn't want to deal with Dion and all the spotlight that comes with that. So there's a bunch of conspiracies out there, but obviously something was going on because everybody had him on their draft board as the second best QB and then had him going in the first round. And you telling me he falls all the way to 5? Obviously it was something going on there. But there's some people out there trying to say it's a race thing too. I don't think it has anything to do with race.
No,
I think
people opening the room in that one. I think race thing's too easy. I think some of these people, especially black folks, who make it a race thing, you're actually hurting the process more because you make it. Stop taking low hanging fruit. Stop.
Yeah.
No, it's not about race. In my opinion, it has to do with cockiness. Oh well, Eli and the Mannings did that in the past. Okay, and we have not seen that since because teams don't want that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Because people say, "Oh, there was no big rigmarole about Manning's." That there was actually. Eli got a lot of shit for that. I got a lot of friends of mine who 20 years ago they can't stand Eli Manning solely because of how he operated with the San Diego trade to New York.
Yeah.
So
and you got to remember too, back then there wasn't social media and all that. Smartphones were just coming out back then, so it wasn't that largely covered like that, like it would be now.
There is also some critique also about Shedeur about things he can't do. I do agree that a lot of the hype is media generated because of his father and because of what his dad accomplished in Colorado the last 2 years. I'm gonna say Shedeur is not good. Shedeur should be in the first round, in my opinion. You gotta take a chance on that one. But the NFL is very black and white. No matter how good a player you are, if you're a bad interview and you're a bad interview across the board with different teams, word's gonna get out, and teams just aren't gonna touch you. That's just the reality situation. They're like the NBA, where we'll take a chance. You know what? Because he's the only star we can get. Da da da. You're just one of many.
Yeah,
Shedeur's not special in that way. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's not a generational talent that a no-brainer that you got to take. He's not a guy like that. And from what we heard in most interviews and stuff, he came in very cocky and, he's flamboyant, of course, and things like that. Teams don't like that.
Yeah, they were saying that Dayball, for example, when met with him last week, and apparently he wasn't ready for the meeting. He had, I guess some stuff in the playbook drawn up, whatever, and Shedeur was not prepared, and Dayball called him out on that, and that set him off pretty much. And so yeah, I mean, but I'm gonna say this much, though, for all the laughing and the people making fun of him and the prank calls, all that stuff. Here's all
that's
say.
fucked up.
Here's what I'm gonna say about that. Shedeur is in the best situation right now to get an opportunity because the Browns have right now 5 quarterbacks. Okay, one is Deshaun Watson, who's probably not going to play next year because of he re-injured his Achilles. Was it Achilles or ACL? Was it Achilles?
I think it was Achilles. Yeah, Achilles.
He got hurt last year and then re-injured it in rehab, so he's out pretty much all next year. Joe Flacco is fucking 200 years old. Okay, he's solid. He's not bad, but I can see him coming and going. Okay, you got Kenny Smallhands, who's come on. And then who's the 4th quarterback? I don't even know who the 4th quarterback is. Doesn't matter.
I don't know.
The fact I can't even think about it means it doesn't matter.
I think it's still Mason. Did you say Mason Rudolph? I think is he still there?
No, he's in Pittsburgh again. He went back to Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if Shedeur wants to make a splash and prove doubters wrong, ain't like he's going to a place where he's playing behind Pat Mahomes or behind even Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
He has legit chance to win the job this year.
Yeah.
So the Browns.
I mean, if he can't outplay Flacco in the preseason and training camp, then all the NFL execs were correct for
right
for passing on him.
So when you look at an opportunity to start right away, not just like in the project right away, Shedeur's in a perfect spot. I don't know if there's any other spot right now in the NFL, maybe outside maybe the Saints and maybe the Steelers, that you go to where you're in a situation right now that even if you're considered the 3rd string quarterback, you definitely have a shot to win the job by week 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
So after all this and the stock lowering, Shedeur can change the narrative like that. And we've seen quarterbacks throughout the entire history of this league fall through the cracks. And what happened? How many great quarterbacks Yeah, go ahead.
It's not like the Cleveland is like Cleveland of old. They have a great running back. They have some good receivers. They have a good tight end. The offense isn't bad at all. Solid defense. So if he can't succeed there, if he can't beat out Flacco, then everybody was right for passing up on him until the 5th round.
Right. So I love it. I think this is a great spot for him. So I don't know. I think I'm watching Browns camp a lot this offseason. I'm watching that shit because, again, how many great quarterbacks that came in the league with the hype met the hype? Very few, that, right? John Elway.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck.
Peyton Manning was terrible his first year. Peyton Manning was bad his first year. Yeah.
I mean,
and he has the record for interceptions still, right? For a rookie?
I think so.
I think he still has it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of quarterbacks that did not, did not, all the greats, Tom Brady and Mahomes, they all fell past lower than their stock. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
these I don't know if you saw the thing with Mel Kiper and Louis yesterday. They got a little bit of argument, the whole panel, because Mel Kiper was defending Shedeur, saying that these GMs don't know shit because they draft these guys, and he's right for the record. These GMs overthink the room, and then this is why guys like Lamar Jackson falls, guys like Pat Mahomes falls, because if these GMs know what the fuck they're doing, these guys wouldn't fall all they do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Joe Montana, 3rd round pick. Tom Brady, 7th round pick. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So there's a point to that. So I do think that there's something to that. So to me, I think Shedeur can, to me, clean slate. Forget what happened. You got drafted. That's all that matters. Play behind you, brother.
If I'm him, I put that chip on the shoulder and go in, be the first one in, last one out, and just play your ass off. You know what I'm saying? Take everything into account, watch film, do the best that you can to be the best that you can, and prove everybody wrong. You know what I'm saying?
This could be your team right away. It's not like, again, you're not playing behind, like you're in a better spot than Jackson Dart is right now. Like Dart could get the starting job at some point down the road and very soon, but he's at the starter right now. They already announced Russ as the starter in New York out the shoot.
Yeah.
There is no
Yeah.
starting. They haven't announced anything in Cleveland yet. Who's starting quarterback? So Shedeur could very well be week 1 starter if he has a great camp. So
And the team isn't bad.
No.
I don't think that roster is bad at all.
They are frisky. They are frisky. You know, and they kept Miles Garrett too on top of that. They ended up extending him for a lot of money that I wouldn't have paid him, but I get it. All right, last thing, let's get out of here. Because this is actually time sensitive because we're actually recording this literally 13 minutes as this recording before the start of Game 4 of your New York Knicks and Detroit Pistons. Look, fuck your Knicks. Okay, number one, I had them winning the sweep. They're up 2-1, obviously. But look, this team I'm watching now in this series, even up 2-1, this team I'm watching ain't mean Boston. I already told you off record. I'm gonna say it again.
No.
Anything.
I'm just wondering how many games we win against Boston. 1, 2?
Brother. Anything less than a 6-game loss to the Celtics in the next round, Thibodeau's done.
Yeah.
Period. Give me percentage chances the Knicks win the title this year. Percentage chances.
Well, we need Jason Tatum and Brown to get hurt. And then after that,
both are healthy for the record. Tatum missed Game 2, and then Brown came into the playoffs hurt, so they're not fully healthy. So that's out there.
Yeah, the percentage of us winning the title, and then we'd have to play whoever out of the West. The percentage of us winning the title is probably like, I don't know, 5, 3.
That's what I said.
It's not gonna happen. We have no depth.
The talent to do it. You have the talent. Well, okay, I love that. You have no depth, but we don't know that because your fucking coach don't play your guys, man.
Yeah.
How am I gonna know you have no depth? You don't play them.
Yeah.
And here's the thing too. Here's the thing also too. I understand, playing a 7 rotation right now in the first round because the schedule dictates that. Because you have 2 days between games. So I understand maximizing your best players in that series, but you need that depth in the second round and in the conference finals and in the NBA finals.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing, bro? Come on, Tibbs. I'm telling you, anything less than Game 6, loss to the Celtics, he's done. And you got Mike Malone available now. You got Fiber Denver. You got Taylor Jenkins available, and who knows, some other assistant, that hot assistant that they can grab off the rip. Thibodeau is a good coach. He has a ceiling, and you're seeing in New York. So
yeah, he's not a bad coach. He just runs his guys into the ground, and it's insane because we have a good roster. But I mean, it's kind of not his fault though, because we honestly don't have a lot after our first 8 guys. We don't have a lot after that, so it's kind of not his fault. But I mean, it is what it is.
We don't know that.
I wouldn't mind seeing a no coach. Yeah. What's the point of having all those guys on the roster and then you don't play them? It makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense. And then you have, and then also some of the strategy too. Also, Jalen Brunson's got to move the ball around a little more. That game 2 was atrocious. You can't have Cat not scoring a single point in the second half of the game.
And another thing that annoys me about them is I don't see enough pick and roll with Brunson and Cat. With those two, why are they not running pick and? That's damn near unstoppable. What are you gonna do? You gonna double Brunson and then leave Cat open, or are you gonna double Cat and then leave Brunson open? Like, they don't run enough of that play. I don't understand why. Every time I'm watching it, I'm like, why aren't we running pick and roll with Cat and Brunson? It makes no sense to me.
Cat was at one point this year an MVP candidate for me.
Yeah, he was playing pretty well. He was playing very well.
He is arguably, I'm not saying it's still Brunson to me, but he is arguably their best player this year.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Brunson got
get his ass involved.
Yeah. I don't understand what that was in Game 2. I don't understand what that was.
Yeah. I do think though the Knicks will go after KD if they could this summer. And they should.
I don't know, man. How much are we going to trade away? We traded away 5 freaking first rounders for.
It won't cost much though for KD because he's 1 year's contract.
But what are we gonna? They're gonna want players. They're gonna want picks. Like, it's gonna be too much, man. It'd be one thing if he was a free agent.
You add KD. Well, yeah, he has 1 year's contract. You add KD to that roster now, and you move off Bridges and maybe get some picks back. Whatever. I mean,
yeah,
there's some pieces there. Trade
We
players.
don't have anything to give. The only thing we have to give them is Bridges.
Trade players that Bridges will probably be the Syracuse ideal. Trade players that you don't play. Here you go, Ishbia. Here's these guys. I don't play them normally, but they're pretty good. Just look at the tape.
yeah.
No, but KD is going to be. I think I was telling Denny early in the podcast, Denny Blanco, that the free agency class this year is atrocious. But I think there'll be a lot of activity because there'll be a lot of whales on the move. I think KD's on the move. Keep an eye on the situation. I think John Morant's going to be gone in Memphis this summer. I think Giannis could possibly shake things up in Milwaukee. I think Trae Young is going to be gone from Atlanta this year. So there'll be some movement, not in free agency, but it'll be in like trades. I think I'll say it again. I think the Luka thing triggered something. I think teams that are resistant to keeping guys or not willing to invest money, $300 million on a player that they deem either incompetent or not worth the value. Like Luka, for example, Dallas didn't do it because of the conditioning. With Ja, it could be off-court issues. Plus, he's a high-risk, high-work player because he's a player that gets hurt a lot because of the way he plays.
Yeah,
I think Ja's another guy to move. So I think you're going to see guys not in free agency, but in getting traded. That there'll be a lot of activity this summer. That's not in free agency. It'll be a lot of activity in trades. And plus, teams trying to avoid second apron on top of that. So
I don't want to trade anything else, man. We traded away 5 first-round picks for Cat and what's his name?
And Bridges.
I can't think. Bridges, yeah. We traded away 5 first-round picks and like 4 good players, solid bench players.
That's why Nico Harrison's a fucking moron, because it wasn't that you trade Luka, it's that you didn't get anything back for him.
Yeah, if Mikal Bridges gets 3 first-round picks, like what are you doing?
Hello?
What are you doing? Oh man,
that was the error there. And he's like, I didn't realize how loved he was in down here. I didn't realize. Just don't say, Nico. Just don't fucking say anything. Shut up.
Yeah.
No comments. I have no answer to that question. Next question. It's not that hard. So, anyway, good job by you. We'll probably come on again. We'll probably do the what we'll do? I'll bring you on a couple weeks to talk about the schedule.
Oh, when it comes out in May.
Giant schedule. We'll go through that thing and see if they'll suck again. So
yeah, we should have an easier schedule.
Yeah. So good job by you, buddy.
All right.